Good evening, parent. Welcome. Welcome to today's live webinar. Let me know if you can hear me from the comment section, please. Let me know if I am audible so that we begin immediately. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Rukia. Am I having Rukia only? No. Good. Mama Girls is here again. You are here in our last class. Mary Wanyika, karibu sana. Agnes Njoroge. Do we have a new person? Is it your first time to be here? Please let me know from the chat as well. I am Cases, yes. Yes to, is it your first time or yes, you can hear me? Esther Kalundu, yes. Mary says I'm new. First time, Rukia, yes, my first time. Okay. I'm new. Good. Thank you so much, parent. And I'll want us to start immediately. A disclaimer as we begin, I am under the weather. For them that know me, for them that have attended my previous webinars, you know I am louder than that. And so keep me on check. If you hear my voice is going a bit low, please keep me on check. I will be able to adjust. I had the option of postponing our this webinar, but I like no, girls are already at home, and I had already received some questions from some of you about today's webinar, and I was like, no, I'll just put myself together so that we have this conversation. So for the new parents, sorry, you'll not be able to see my face today. I'll be off the camera because I am so much covered like like a watchman to keep myself warm. I hope that is okay with you, but in subsequent webinars, I will endeavor to have my video on, or my camera on rather. But otherwise, that's my face. That's how I look. Yeah, so I'll really try so that I can keep the same energy that I show or that I have. Um, Conversations about girls and you know what our girls are going through is so key to my heart, is so pertinent, is something that I can wake up and start talking about from my sleep or at any single time, because I have seen the power of giving parents the right information, what it has done, and the transformation that it has caused in families, not only in the lives of parent, but also in families at large. Academic performance for the girls, and you know, parents getting their girls again. And most of the time I have on, you know, parents reaching out to me, Brenda, I'm losing my daughter. Brenda, I don't know, I don't understand who my daughter is anymore. And because of that, I desire and my goal is just to share as much information as possible with you parents. And that is why even the topics that we discuss, the topics that I have are not ordinary topics, you know, like 5 ways you can support your daughter to become blah, 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 or 10 quick fixes. I just bring them home. Like what you said is not what your daughter had. Okay. And so, because of that, I have seen many parents really getting help, and that's me for the new parent. I hope adolescent girls rise above pressure and you know build the life that they want, resilience. I always tell parents that girls don't just want to be rude, they just don't want to be disobedient, they just don't want to perform poorly in school. There's a reason why they are performing poorly. So I do this through mentorship, through coaching, through training, one-on-one coaching, and also group coaching, just to empower girls so that they can take charge of their life. Truth be told, parent, you cannot take charge of your daughter's life. You can't. You will lose it and you will give up. You will be tired because that's not how the system is. That's not how God wired everything to be. Every person has to take charge of their own lives. But also, number two is what I'm doing right now. Number two and number three, how parents understand their daughters better. I have worked with over 10,000 girls in Kenya from over 36 counties, and I can confidently tell you that I hardly get anything new that's affecting our daughters. It whether from high income families or very low income families, their issues are all the same. They may appear like they are different, but whatever is underlying is the same. Okay. And so I help parents understand their daughter so that you don't think this girl is just being rebellious or she's being just another teenager girl. And because of that, it's also the element of bridging the gap, helping the parent understand their daughters, why they behave the way they behave. And I remember beginning of this year was having a conversation with a parent who had stayed for almost 6 months without having a conversation with her daughter who was staying with the grandparent. Okay. And the mother was, and this was her firstborn daughter, and the mother was feeling like she's giving up and losing it up. And so we had a meetup, 5 hour meeting with both of them. And right now they are in good spaces. The mother has accepted where she is, the girl has accepted where there are shortcomings, and they are in a very good space. I've done this for over 8 years, and it gives me so much fulfillment and joy to see girls being transformed and girls being renewed and becoming, understanding even themselves better. Okay. And now let's get to the topic of the day. Please feel free to ask any question. Just in case you have, feel free to inquire, or just a clarification if you need. I'll be pausing and responding to your questions, because I want it to be very, very engaging. All right. So again, for the parents who are joining us, I'm a bit under the weather. Um, so feel free to ask the questions, but I'll be off camera for today's webinar. Now, parents, have you ever said these kind of things, in your day-to-day activities? Maybe your daughter told you something and you're like, oh, baby, no, not now. And then maybe you found her crying, and why are you crying again? Or why are you crying? You should know better. You should do things better. You should have known that this is the way to do it. Or sometimes you even, yeah, for your own reasons, you choose to keep quiet. Like you don't respond, you walk away. She says something or she responds in a particular way, and you just walk away. You give her that silence. Be strong. You are a big girl, especially when she's going through a tough challenge or a tough season. You're like, be strong. I know you are a big girl. You'll handle this. You'll overcome this. Okay. Or sometimes you even say, if you keep behaving like this, probably I'll take you out of this school. If you keep behaving like this, I'll take the phone away from you. If you keep behaving like this, I will, take you to Ushago so that you stay with your grandma. Have you ever found yourself saying these things, parent? Please respond. It's a yes or no. Or what else have you ever told your daughter? Just the normal things that we say. I mean, not dramatic, day-to-day activities. Have you ever found yourself using these phrases, parent? Not now. Why are you crying again? You should know better. Or sometimes you just choose silence. If you keep behaving like this. Let me check. So many answers so many times. Esther says yes. Is maybe it's Esther alone and Anne who use these phrases. Parents do use these phrases on a day-to-day activities. Yes, several times. This is Dolly. Runyararo says even yesterday. Is that what you've said? Yes, even yesterday. Agnes, severally, Winnie, so many times. Mary is the silence parent. I know I'll just go silent on you every day. Yes, stop crying. I know. And Anne, when you tell her stop crying, you're coming from a very a kind of empathetic space, and you want her, it's like when you tell her stop crying, it's like you expect her now to stop and now, have everything collected and everything put together and know that mommy got you, I choose to keep silent. Yeah, MK, because you just choose your peace, right? That's what we say. Yeah, you just choose your peace. You don't want many battles, you don't want to be misunderstood. You just choose your battle. And sometimes it's because we think they are just teenagers, right? They're just teenagers, they are moody. Is that what goes through our mind? Or what, when we're giving this feedback, what really goes through our mind? Um, yeah, MK says, I don't want to say something that would hurt her. Perfectly. Yeah, that's a valid reason. What are other reasons why parent we tell her something like, don't cry, don't stop crying, or you will overcome, you'll get over it. It's just a simple thing, it's a small thing, you should, focus on your studies. What are other reasons why we give them those kind of feedback? Anne says, I feel like she's being overly sensitive. Yes, Anne. And so it's like telling her, take it easy or be calm or don't cry. It's like it's going to help her, say the reality of life. Thank you, Anne, for sharing that, because I'll be talking about it in a few. Let me get some two other comments from parents. What are some of the reasons why we use such words or sentences to a parent? And I admit for sure it comes from a very empathetic and from a very loving point of it. Winnie says, I feel they are mature enough to understand what to do. Runyararo says, sometimes it feels like unfair they are being unfair to you. Very valid points. And a disclaimer, parents, I'm not here to teach you to parent. The things that I'm going to share, you don't apply everywhere. It just depends on your family and the dynamics of your family. So pick what is applicable to your daughter or to your family. And if something doesn't make sense to you, please feel free to ask questions. But the things that I'm sharing here are the things that I've tested over the years, and they make a lot of sense. And let me surprise you. When you say these things, what do they hear? This is what your daughter hears. When she makes a suggestion or a request and you're like, not now. She hears you are not important. Okay? When you ask her, why are you crying again? She hears your feelings are too much. Just relax. You should know better. She hears you disappoint me. When you give her the silence, you walk away or you choose not to talk, she hears you are ashamed of me. Okay? Be strong. You're a big girl. Or when you're trying to pump them so that they can go for whatever they need, they hear you're not allowed to be vulnerable. You are a big girl. Just put your life together. If you keep behaving like this, I'll take your phone, I'll take you to Shago, I'll do this. They hear you are a burden and I'm running out of love. Can you imagine, parent, when, like Anu said, is it Anu said? No, Anne talked about there being they should reason. There's a parent who said about silence because she doesn't want to say something that will hurt them. Excuse me, she doesn't want to say something that will hurt them. So imagine you as a parent, you just choose your peace. You choose to be quiet, but your daughter, what does she hear? You are ashamed of me. So even the following day, she'll still knows mommy is ashamed of me. All right. For example, if you find your daughter crying or when she starts crying over an issue and you tell her, why are you crying again? Stop crying. It's like you're telling her, your feelings are too much. I mean, I'm not able, just these feelings are too much. Relax. Okay. So now, parent, imagine what you're saying. And these are just examples. Okay. These are just examples. Imagine what you say versus what your daughter hears. Then, this is the reason why we will say these are just teenagers. They are acting up. They don't want to reason. They are under bad influence or company, or they're just being unreasonable, right? These are some of the things that we say they're just being unreasonable. They don't want to think these are big girls. Why are you behaving like a child? You know, when you say why are you behaving like a child and you're telling your 15-year-old girl, is she not a child? Is she not a child? She is actually. And most of the time parents are looking at their daughters from the lens of the experience. Let me explain, and I keep on telling parents this. Lydia, for example, you are let's say 40 years old. Okay, so when you're looking at your 15-year-old daughter, you are judging her based on your 40 years experience, 40 years bringing five other children, 40 years of experience dealing with maybe other teenagers in the community, 40 years of experience dealing with your own issues. So you've learned better, you are more experienced, you're more exposed. So when you are judging, directing, instructing your daughter, you are instructing her and looking at her from the lens of a 40-year-old lady. So that's why you'll become very harsh and you expect your daughter to have the same experience like you, such that if they don't meet your expectation, you are so angered, you are so frustrated why they didn't do things in a better way. Irene says feeling that they are stubborn. Mary says sometimes they can push you so much. Anne says feels like you're overworking on eggshells. Yeah, I totally understand. I feel she's big enough to see sense. That's Esther. It feels like they are being unfair to you. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, so you're looking at your daughter and expecting her to reason like you. That is why you're actually saying that you think she's big enough to make a decision. Big enough according to who? Big enough according to your standard as a 39-year-old lady, as a 50-year-old lady, right? So you want her to have your experience. You want her to reason like you. You want her to see friendship the way you see. You, who has gone through some heartbreaks, even from your girlfriends, or even family relatives, you have seen the reality of who a human being is, and you know you cannot trust a human being, and you know for sure that there are people who are mean. So you expect your 15-year-old girl to have the same experience and to think like you, such that when you tell her this is not a good friend, you expect her to automatically believe that, right? Okay, but that's not the problem. Let me share with you a slide that will totally change how you view your daughter, that will make you to be more empathetic and to understand her even better. And says they also want to be treated as big kids and not babies. This is what is called adolescent dilemma. And one of these fine days, I'll teach you about adolescent dilemma. They are now from a state where they were children. They were toddlers. So it's mommy. Everything was revolving around mommy and dad. To an adolescent stage where they are totally confused. One minute they feel like they are adults. One minute they feel like, mommy, let me know. Let me do what I need to do. I know what is wrong. I know the wrong company. Mommy, I can't do something that will harm me. Mommy, I know if I'm in danger, I'll call you. Is that not what they tell you? Mommy, allow me to go to the mall. I will have my live location. I'll share with you my live location. At that particular time, they want you to believe that they are adults, okay? But then at the same time, when they are lost and totally confused, they'll behave like they are children. And I totally agree. It's called adolescent dilemma. It's there. All right. So one minute they want to be treated like kids, the other minute they want to be treated like adults. They are big girls, right? Let me share with you this. Please have a look at it as I take some hot water. Excuse me. Now I know there's some medics here, doctors to be very specific, and I know they know this. This is on the face value. It's not the details. This is the face value. This is the brain of a human being. Okay? Uh, Sorry, just give me a minute. Okay, perfect. This is a brain of a human body. Now, the teenage brain is under construction. Now, there is a brainstem that controls body regulation and processes. That means eating, sleeping, and temperature and stuff like that. There is a limbic system that's responsible for emotions and detecting danger. And then there is the prefrontal cortex that is responsible for cognitive functioning, that is thinking, problem solving, and stuff like that. Okay. So when we talk about the brainstem, when your daughter is tired, hungry, or overwhelmed, her brainstem can take over, making her react like she is in survival mode. Tell me your experience when your daughter is very hungry or very tired. What kind of a girl do you have at that particular time? When she's hungry, when she's tired, when she's, you know? So that part is regulated by the brainstem. So when your daughter is tired, hungry, overwhelmed, her brainstem can take over, making her react like she's in survival mode. Sometimes they behave like zombies. You may be trying to correct her, but all she feels is discomfort and threat. So that's why she might be rude, not only to you, but also to the siblings, especially younger siblings. They may overreact, right? The worst thing that can happen is you've tried to correct her when she is hungry, moody. They also want to be very moody. Mine hardly eats. Okay, that's a different case. You may be trying to correct her, but all she feels is discomfort. That's why hungry or tired teen may cry. They may actually cry, or they may even snap, clicking and doing all the things that you don't really approve. It's not part of your values as a family. The second part is the limbic system. Okay, this is where it processes emotions and scans for danger. Now, you need to understand this is a part of the brain that says, am I safe? Am I loved? Am I being attacked? And for the teenagers, it's extra sensitive during adolescence. So when you raise your voice, or show frustration or use sarcasm, she may not hear the words. Remember what I said? She hears danger or rejection. That's why she'll hear, you don't love me, you don't understand me. And this is the thing, parent. The limbic system is the system that develops faster than the prefrontal cortex. Let me explain the prefrontal cortex so that you get to understand. This is where all the thinking, problem solving, understanding consequences happen. Okay? But this is a part of the brain that is still developing in teens, and it won't fully mature until your daughter is over 25. Okay? This means even a smart girl, this girl who's, that she is good, she's obedient, she is kind, da 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 da. They may struggle to sometimes to think clearly. They may make a very serious mistake. They may do something that will really hurt them. And you wonder what happened. What happened to my daughter? What happened to Abigail? What happened to Akini? So while you were explaining, logically, she may be stuck in her emotions. This is why when you tell her use your common sense, that's a phrase that my mom kept on using when I was a teenager. I can't forget it because it was so hurting. She kept on saying use your common sense, but I couldn't understand and I couldn't ask her. So when you're trying to help your daughter think logically, when you're using phrases like, can't you see that you're putting your life in danger? Can't you see that you're having bad friends? She actually cannot see. So you're right. Yeah, she can't see. Why? Because the prefrontal cortex that is responsible for thinking, for problem solving, understanding consequences, understanding the dangers that are around, or trying to make sense of the things that are happening is still developing up to the age of 25. Now, the limbic system fully develops faster than the prefrontal cortex. This is the reason why your daughters, there is something, a phrase that parents always say, that she's just a teenager. These are teenage mood swings. These are teenage, this is how they behave. And saying some other mean words that really, really hurt, hurt our children. Okay, it's not because it's just a stage. It's biological, it's scientific. It is true. The limbic system is fully developed, or developed faster than the prefrontal cortex, so they become overly emotional. They become overly emotional. They detect danger even when there is no danger. And that is why when you're trying to correct your daughter calmly and you're like, Abigail, I didn't like what you did. They're like, Mom, you don't like me. You don't even listen to me. You prefer a child X and me. I'm not loved. Da, 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 da. And you're like, okay, where is everything coming from? It's actually not your problem. It's the way they are wired in terms of scientifically their brain. That is how they are understand. That's how they are receiving it. And that is why I started by asking you, do you know sometimes the words that you say to your daughter, she may not interpret it that way? Have you ever heard your daughter say something like, Mom, you don't love me. Mom, you're not understanding. Mom, you're not kind. Mom, you don't trust me. Just because you didn't allow her to go to the mall with her friends. So now she's becoming overly dramatic, quote unquote, now that you are not allowing her to go outside to the mall, Sarit Center, or the hub. And you know the dangers of that. But according to her, it's now you don't like me, you don't trust me, you don't value me, I'm not your favorite child, you are very strict, you're not like other parent, parent access is better, da 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 da. And you're like, where is all this coming from? It's because they actually did not hear what you were saying, they interpreted it differently. Is it your problem? No. Is it their problem? No. That is how they are wired. And I'll tell you then what you need to do in relation to this. So this slide will really help us in the next two slides. Please understand. Now, let me go back to the brainstem that controls and regulates body processes, eating, sleeping, da 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 da, temperatures and stuff like that. Does it also do the same to the adult? Yes, it does the same. But now remember, for an adult, prefrontal cortex is fully developed. Okay, so if prefrontal cortex is fully developed, the adult will not use the limbic system only, where it's the emotions and detecting danger, as teenagers use it. It's totally different. Okay, so the brainstem you'll use the same functions, but for adult, they are fully developed. For teenagers, they are not. That is why they will become angry, overly sensitive. When they are tired, they are really, really tired. Tiredness, hunger comes with emotions. Sometimes they can even cry. Sometimes they can even, fail to do assignments and become what we call dramatic. Parents, does this make sense? Can you relate with this? Can you relate with this, parent? Let me see your comment section. I want to make sure that you've understood this before I move to the next slide. How do you explain when your daughter's communication is all the time sarcastic? She wants you to accept her sarcasm, but I shouldn't. How do you explain when your daughter's communication is all time sarcastic? She wants you to accept her sarcasm, but I shouldn't. Probably this is how she has seen, this is what works best for her. Nobody wants to be in a place where they feel threatened, afraid, or they feel they are in danger. So probably whether in school or wherever she learnt it from, she knows this is the best way to maneuver or to circumnavigate this kind of situation. So for her to be sarcastic, it's not because that's how she wants it to be. That's what she has learned, that for me to survive, I have to be sarcastic. Let me give you an example of lying. There are some children who are taught that if you lie, you escape the punishment. And let me give you an example in schools. So, for example, in school, if you, let me not say steal, but if your daughter picks someone else's book without the consent of the other child, if they say, yes, I'm the one who picked, they are punished. If they lie, they didn't pick, they are not punished. So then your daughter learns actually lying is the survival technique in this place. So keep on lying. If you lie, you get over it. If you say the truth, you are punished. So Gladys, I'm not saying that's the exact thing, but chances are, because for me working with girls, I've come to realize there is a reason. There is a reason for everything that they do. She just will not wake up and start being sarcastic. Probably that's the culture of the family. Probably that's the culture of, that's what they do with in their friends, and that's how she survives, even in school. And now she's trying to bring it at home. What then do you need to do? Point it out, and not in at a point where now she has been sarcastic. These are the ground rules of this family. No sarcasm. Okay. And Waithira is asking, why are these phrases so familiar? Yes, Waithira, because my classes are not theoretical. These are things that I hear parents say, girls say in my class all the time. Gladys saying, also, kwani are girls wired differently from boys? My teen son is so different, like his prefrontal cortex is way developed than others. Well, not quite Gladys. It's only that I choose to major with girls. Also, not all girls go through this. Now, I had a girl I was meeting last month who had quote unquote had issues with all her friends, her classmates, of her age mates, and she was crying and asking me, Brenda, does it mean I'm a very bad girl? Does it mean that I can never be understood? What's wrong? You know? And in that conversation, and we're having even a conversation with the parent later, I told the parent, expose your daughter to girls who are a bit older than her, like 3, 4 years older than her. And let me tell you, parents, it was a game changer for this girl. So this girl would relate better with girls who are a bit older than her peers. Why? Because again of the developmental milestones. Every girl is unique. So when she was exposed to these other girls who are a bit older than her, she was able to appreciate that actually my peers are not seeing my point of view, because for her she was more mature than her age mate, and so she would reason better with girls who are a bit mature than her. So exposing her to girls who are mature than her made her appreciate herself, like, I'm not a bad person, I'm not a bad child, I'm not a bad friend. It's only that I'm not able to relate with this. And so she became more empathetic and more understanding, with her peers. Does it mean now she ditched out all the other friends? Definitely no, but it gave a different perspective. So even on this conversation that I'm having, it all depends on your daughter, but most of them fall under this category. Okay. So then what do you need to know? The emotional brain on the driver's seat. They are ready to react. Their emotions hear and feel before they think, before it gets in their mind. So sometimes when you're trying to reason and reasoning at a place where you are very angry as a parent, already know that your daughter is on flee mode or fight mode. She's either ready to flee, to run away, or to fight back. So running away means keeping quiet, crying, and shutting up. Running away or fleeing means, or fighting means she will now use mean words. She'll become very rude. She'll use words that you feel disrespected as a person. And then as a parent, as you try, because what we do as parents, we just want to give them that sense. No, can't you see you're risking? Why did you go to the mall without telling me? They are not able to see that part of they're not able to reason. They're not seeing actually what you're seeing. So even if, and that is why sometimes you will try to talk to them and they're just looking at you. Or they do something like, Mommy, Kwani, was it wrong? Or sometimes you're having conversation with them and they cannot explain why they did what they did. They are actually terrified that you're angry. They are actually shocked that you're angry. Okay? Why? Because of this element. Your daughter may seem to overreact to things that feel minor to you. You wonder, why are you overreacting? Why are you thinking that Abigail, your friend, is so important? Just leave her. You'll find another friend. You'll find another, another school. You don't have to keep on bending. So for you, it's such a small thing, but for them, it is really everything. It's everything that they need to understand. So I hope, parents, you have understood this element, this part of the brain development, the brain stem, the limbic system, and the prefrontal cortex. Prefrontal cortex responsible for decision making, responsible for thinking, problem solving. So the next time your daughter is not able to handle an issue well, please be empathetic. Okay? It's the prefrontal cortex that is not fully developed. The next time you see something and your daughter cries all the time, remember the limbic system matures faster than the prefrontal cortex. So she is in that mode of detecting danger. She can detect danger more than love. Okay. Now, the second thing I need you to understand or to put into consideration is this. Social approval is a big deal. For teen girls, peer approval feels more rewarding than praise from parents. Another phrase that I always tell parents, bitter truth, is that whatever your daughter's friends tell them, it's more important than what you tell them. Your daughter may choose to run away from your home where there is everything. There is food, there is Wi-Fi, there is security, and decide to go somewhere, a very unsafe space. Social validation for them lights up her brain. Okay? That's why she may ignore your guidance and try to please her friends instead. Whatever you say doesn't make sense. Even if it is risky what she wants to do, she will do it. Okay? And you may think it's disrespect, but that's actually wiring. And also, parent, I am not advocating for bad behavior. There is a room for correction, there is room for punishment, there is room for conversation. I am just telling you the science behind what they do. Okay? So it's not disrespect. That's how they are wired. Remember the brain. So teens' brains are wired for peer connection. During adolescence, the limbic system, what we have talked about, becomes hypersensitive, especially to social cues. Social cues like which ones? Acceptance. They want to be accepted. They want to feel they belong. They are so sensitive on rejection, on status. That is why in most of the schools there are those social classes, social status, or peers tend to be in groups. They want to feel belonging. Now that cannot be broken even by the school regulations or this. It can't, because that is how they are wired. Okay. So it becomes hyper attuned to what peers think, and this is biologically normal, not shallow or immature. Your daughter is not being immature, or what we call peer pressure. There is also the element of peer pressure, but also it's not peer pressure. That's how they are hyper attuned. That's how they are wired. That's what they want. Okay. But also there is a hormone that is quote unquote called the feel good hormone. The dopamine hormone makes peer approval feel like a reward. It's such a big deal. Okay. And dopamine is the chemical linked to motivation and pleasure. When a teenager gets compliment from boys, compliment from or likes, those Instagram, they post the photos and they get a like. There is a girl who was going through my coaching session, and she said she quit Instagram because she used to post photos and none of her friends would like her photos, and it was really heartbreaking. And for her, she's not going to have the Instagram account, so she deleted the account and said, no, I don't want that again. So for them, those like on post, or when they are included, they are invited for birthday party, Also, there is another girl who was so broken, had broken, and she became so frustrated because she was removed from an Instagram group where their friends are. And so someone just decided to remove her, and she was so broken. Okay? When they feel ignored, rejected, or embarrassed, their brain registers it's like pain. And actually, there's a study that says that social rejection, social rejection in teens activates the same pain, the same pain as a physical pain. So when your daughter feels rejected in school, that is where sometimes you'll hear your daughter says, all of a sudden she wants to transfer from a school and you don't know. You ask her what's wrong. She can't explain, but she just wants to transfer from that school. And maybe she can fake something like it's very cold or it's the food. The moment your daughter feels rejected by a teacher, by the peers, whoever, she feels she feels the pain like a physical pain. So when you're telling her ignore or don't think about it, actually, it does not make sense. And that is why they shut up. That's why they say mommy cannot understand me, mommy doesn't listen, da 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 da, and all those stories. Okay? Now the prefrontal cortex again, we said it's still developing, right? This may overvalue peer approval because she can't think. She's not thinking the right way. She's not seeing the bigger picture. So she underestimates risks just to fit in. That's why a girl will just disappear at night, or they will just start having chats with strangers on Instagram. So she struggles to balance what's right with what feels socially safe. So being socially safe is more important to her than any other thing. So when a teen girl dresses a certain way or joins her trends, they want now these cargo pants with some, Nike sneakers, or they will now want iPhone 15 or iPhone 16. They want to fit in. They really value social safety. And if you try to shake that, you become an enemy. They can't talk to you, they can't open up to you. And you know how that happens is when you, as a parent, normally in your element, you just want to guide. No, that friend is not good. You need to get out of that negative pressure. Da, 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 da. When you're guiding them, and you're taking them away from a place they are feeling they are safe, you become an enemy. Okay? So, parents, I want you to know that it's not always rebellion. It's often the brain trying to survive socially. They want to do things that feel safe and things that feel rewarding for them at that particular time. Belonging is survival to the adolescent brain. To the teenager, belonging is survival. Like there's nothing you can do about it. From even Kitambo, the evolutionary standpoint, being excluded from a group felt very dangerous. Okay, this wiring hasn't changed, and it's being, even parents talk about it like, oh, my daughter now cannot leave this group. I thought she left this friend, but she didn't. So it's not something that is happening with your daughter. It's your daughter is not the first person to cling to a certain group that you think they are not good friends. And on this one, that's why I tell parent, why not become proactive? If now you know social approval is such a big deal, why don't you become proactive? You know your daughter's friends, you know the parents of your daughter's friends. Why not curate social activities for your daughters to do things together and not interfere with their lives, such that you are not allowing your daughters to just figure out their things or figure out social activities, but you are agreeing as parents in the same estate, let's organize an excavation for our children, both boys and girls. Let's do it. Because telling your daughter be in the house, don't go, will not work. And there is a girl who told me, mommy thinks that I don't go out, but she leaves the house in the morning. Kwani, where does she think I stay the whole day? She will leave me in the house and she'll find me in the house. What about the over 5 hours in between? Where does she think I am? And she's like, please don't tell mom about this. You get the point. So instead of doing things that are not working for your daughter, because she'll figure out how to get happiness, how to get fulfilled, how to belong. She will figure it out. And you may tell her not to go out, not to go out and with friends, but it's better if she goes out than when she stays inside and she is in 25 WhatsApp groups or Instagram groups and she's chatting with strangers. You understand? So I'm not saying that whatever they're doing is right and we should allow them. I'm just asking then, can we be proactive parent to bring our daughters together, organize a staycation where it's supervised and allowing them to enjoy? I know some of you will say, but you know, our daughters don't want us to be around. Yes, because you get into their affairs. You are looking at them, you're like, oh no, no, stop doing that. No, you can't go that. You can't do. So you are policing them. But the reason why you're doing that is because you think they don't know what they are doing, or you think if you allow them to go all the way, they will actually mess themselves up. What if you have some guidelines? You are not going to get into this shop, you're not going to get into a liquor shop, you are not going to do ABCD. If you do it, this is it. It's the same thing with phone, because for I know phones are becoming such a big deal in families right now. But parent, what do you expect if you bought your daughter a phone and you told her, this is your phone, I've given you for free, now enjoy. But then when she has started misusing it, that's when you're threatening to take the phone. Why are you taking her phone? Remember when you bought the phone, it was her phone. I bought you a phone, Abigail. This is your phone. So why do you want to take her phone? Why do you want to take her phone right now? It is her phone, and I was listening to I don't know if your parent found it, which was so informative, a clip by Caroline Mutoko, where she was saying that when you're buying, if you feel like the need to buy your daughter a phone, let it be your phone. Mary Wanyika, it's you who has bought a phone and you want to give your daughter your phone. What does that mean? You are using your own passwords in that phone. The email account in the phone is yours, everything is yours, and you have the guideline, just the way you can give someone your car and you give them, instructions on not to use this car. But if you buy this phone, it's like, hey Abigail, this is your phone, da 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 da, put your own passwords. So now why are you becoming angry when you can't access a phone again? Okay, so it's the same thing when it comes to social activities. If you blindly allow your daughter to go, I don't know, there's another parent, I was coaching her daughter, and they have an agreement with her daughter, um who is 15, I think. Yeah, 15 years old. And if you have a plan to go somewhere outside, with your friends, the deal is tell me 2 weeks before. And it has worked for them, because now the girl is not easily influenced. She knows, if my friends say we go next week, mommy will not agree. So she knows it. All right. So what am I saying, parents? It's always not lost. We need now to have rules and guidelines to guide these little ones. Is there any question? Let me check. Do you agree with all this information, parent? Let me sip some water. For parents who are joining us, please, apologies. I am off camera today because I'm under the weather. Please let me know if you can relate to this information. Let me see the chat box. Oh wow, it now makes sense. Thank you, Abigail. Is that why she takes it so personally if her friends are not talking to her or have talked about, please, parent, this is such a big deal. If your daughter is having a strained relationship with her friends, please don't casually tell her, get over it. Don't casually tell her you will get other friends. Don't casually tell her that no, they are bad friends. Please don't casually tell her like that. Yes, and that is why she takes it so personal and she can cry. And if you try to water down her feelings, she will not open up to you again, because she'll feel mommy doesn't care. Nobody understands. This is where this phrase comes from. Mommy doesn't understand, or my parents don't understand, or they will judge me. It's not because you are a bad parent. It's because what you say is not what they hear. Okay. Now, communication is processed differently. Teens are sensitive to tone and facial expressions, and they often misread neutral or calm tones as angry or critical. Emotional memory is stronger than logical explanation. In every girl that I meet, parent, I can tell you, they always tell me something that mommy or daddy did when they were younger, and not something good, something bad. The emotion, how you made them feel that time, they will remember. Even if you apologized, even if you have done a million other good things, they will remember, and it will shape how they will relate and interact with you in future. So there is a girl who told me the first person who bullied her was her father, because of how her physical features. And she said that the dad did that when she was 8 years old. The dad used to make fun of her because she was very chubby and plump, compared to her age mate. And she said that that's the first person that bullied her. Do you think the father was really bullying her? No. The father maybe was making some comments, just random comments of, just being funny and having a conversation with my baby, my daughter. But it's how those comments made her feel. She's just not hearing what you are saying. She's interpreting how you say it. And let me tell you how these girls reason. Because their prefrontal cortex is still growing, it doesn't mean they don't think. They actually think. But what happens in the process of thinking? You interrupt, you fill in, all right. So that is why your daughter will be explained. And sometimes they give you a story that doesn't make sense. It's not like flowing kabisa. So when you listen to that story keenly, it's not flowing. And you start suspecting like they are lying or they are trying to hide something, but actually it's their brain that is not able to articulate, like to tell you step by step what exactly happens. But the more you listen, the more you become curious, you actually come to realize, oh, this story is actually adding up. But then what do we do as parents when she comes and tells you the way they had a difficult conversation with her friends are picking on her? What do you say as a parent? No, no, it's fine. Even they don't perform so well, they are in a very bad group, they are they are not good people to stay. So now, after you say that, what do you expect her to say? She'll keep quiet, right? So you'll not get to understand how she feels about it. Then, if you try to bring the same issue again, she shuts up. Why? Because mommy doesn't understand. Because daddy will jump into conclusion. Then you say, my daughter nowadays, she doesn't talk to me, but you are the one who caused it. Now, parent, I want you to remember that your daughter is a human being just like you. When you are speaking, you'll know someone when they are very present and they are listening to you. They don't cut you short, they will just listen, right? Same thing to your daughter. She knows when you're listening. She knows when you're listening to advice, and she knows when you're listening you don't have time. When you are on your phone and she's telling you something that is so serious, it's like you and your spouse discussing about land and an major investment that costs you 10 million and above. You can't just do that when you're casually cooking or casually on your phone. So it's the same thing when your daughter is telling you about friendship and relationships, in school and how the teacher made them feel. It's urgent and she wants maximum attention. If you don't do that, she senses that um you're being distracted or you are so impatient by the way you're cutting her. Then that's how you lose her. That's how you lose that conversation. Then what do you need to do as a parent? Let me see your comment first because I want to be sure we are aligned. I have a challenge when I refuse outing with friends I do not know or have not met. What do I do when she gets angry because of my refusal? Abigail, the reason as to why she'll get angry is because probably that's the first time you're telling her. Now, have a conversation with a very neutral family guidelines or rules. Now listen, maybe your daughter is called Edna. Now listen, Edna, I will not allow you to go outside to meet friends I have never met. Can we agree on that? If you have to go outside, they must have come in our house. I must know them. I must know. Are we together? If you have to go to meet them, I must drop you and I'll be in the vicinity, either within the mall or in another mall, but I will be in the vicinity. If you have to go, then you need to be home by 6 p.m. If you have to go, then you must share your live location. If you have to, have those conversations before you get to that point. And if you're here and your daughter has not asked you to go out, this is the high time to have that conversation because it's coming. Have those guidelines, have those, rules. When it comes to dressing, have those conversations with her because then it becomes a fight when she has already done it, and that's the time you're telling her not to do it. It's like when you're going, to work in the office, and because you came 8:30, then your boss is mad with you because you came at 8:30, yet you are not told the reporting time. You will feel awkward, like, okay, fine, why didn't you tell me? And you can become actually a bit resistant to that, especially if they want to give you a disciplinary letter or show cause letter or something, right? It's the same thing. So prior communication is very, very important. And I know it becomes a bit chaotic because this is your baby. You gave birth to this. She was just 2 years the other day. Now we have to discuss. Yes, yes. Why does my girl never speak anything in the house? Because she doesn't feel it's a safe space to speak. She feels she'll be judged, she'll not be heard, she'll not be listened to, nobody understands her, and that's why she'll keep quiet. So how should we help the girls navigate through the strained um relationships with friends at school? Irene, this is not a one call conversation. And for parents who don't know, I'm having a webinar, a 4 days class on sexuality and identity. A number of you have signed up, and it's happening on the end of this month. Please, I'll be sharing more details on it. You can't afford to miss this because this is where we'll also be talking about identity and friendship and who they are. We'll talk about their personality, their values, who they are, and stuff like that. Please, if you have not signed up your baby, let her come. um what of faking to seek approvals from peers? Dr. Kanini, I mentioned it. It's because that is they are wired to get approval. Even if it means killing, even if it means stealing, they will do it. Leave alone faking a lifestyle or faking. There is a girl I know who was faking her lifestyle to fit in, and she was telling these are the kids that her parents stay in Dubai. They live in Runda, and she has a driver, and during the holiday, every holiday she goes for vacation out of the country alone. She has a very nice phone, da 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 da. Yet this girl was coming, our education actually was being sponsored by the church from in a very remote place, in this country. You can imagine the pressure this girl was giving other girls. So she was really adored in school because, and she said the reason why she doesn't have much money in school because she's not interested in stuff that are sold in school. She has a lot at home. You can imagine your daughter trying to compare herself with this girl who is living a fake life. You get the point? Yeah, so girls will do anything to fit in. They will do anything so that they can feel that approval. There was a time my daughter asked for new clothes at because her friends already all knows all her clothes or something. Yeah, a girl will demand you buy a new set of wardrobe because she wants to show off to her friends, or her friends too, like, when you don't have other clothes, why do you have these clothes only? All the events you come with these clothes. They will go all the extra mile. That is why I thank God they wear school uniform in school. I can't imagine them wearing home clothes. It will be chaotic. For sure, for sure. Uniform brings uniformity, okay? Now, what then do we need to do as parent? I have 2 slides for this, and we call it a night, okay? This is it. Sorry. The 3 A's that you need to use as a parent so that you can support your daughter. Acknowledge feelings, affirm her worth, ask what she had. Number 1, acknowledge feelings. Now, the sad bit is sometimes when you're having conversations with our daughters or when they have made a mistake, we are also so angry. We are also so annoyed. We are all boiled up. We are all at 180 degrees Celsius or the 300 and whatever, the toppest of it all. So it's very hard for you to reason with her. But I always tell parents in every conversation, ask yourself, who is the big person here? And so I'm not saying walk away. Look at her from a point of this girl is just trying to manage. She's just on survival mode. When the next time she's rude, she's angry, that's not the time to tell her you are angry, you are rude, because she's already on flight mode. She is already ready to run. She's ready to fight. That is why she's shouting, she's raising her voice, she's already ready to do that. So when you tell her stop being angry, rude, you're being disrespectful, what happens? You are just affirming that this is actually an unsafe space. Remember, we talked about the limbic system that develops faster than prefrontal cortex. So at that particular time, you cannot reason with her. So when you acknowledge her feelings, like, hey, Abigail, I acknowledge that you're angry, or I can see, no, mekasirika, it's okay to be angry. Let me give you time, you calm down. They get shocked. Like, okay, so it's actually not bad. So it's not actually a fight. So they may actually even try to poke you so that they can justify how they are feeling because they're already ready to fight or to run or to cry. They are ready to do that. So when you calm down, you as a person acknowledge their feeling. I see you are upset. Do you want us to talk about it now? When you ask that question, they may respond in 2 ways. Either they continue being harsh and rude, or they keep quiet. They'll keep quiet because they're like, okay, so actually this is a safe space. So there is no fight. And they may continue because they don't believe that actually there is no fight. So acknowledge their feelings. Don't don't try to pour down how they are feeling or to water down what they are feeling. Ignore, they are just your friends. Those people you'll not even meet them again once you're through with your A levels. You'll never find them again. Just ignore. That's how they keep quiet. The second thing, affirm her worth. Let them actually tell them, you are not in trouble. We are not fighting. I just want to understand where you're coming from right now. And if you're angry, we can talk about it tomorrow. All right? The third is ask what she had. For example, I know we are not superhuman. Sometimes you'll come home when you are very tired, you had a hectic day. That is when she wants to tell you about her friends, her phone, she wants to go out, and you're very tired. Now tell her, Abigail, please, I am so tired today. Can we talk about it tomorrow? Chances she'll say like yes, or she'll keep quiet, or she'll just walk away. Ask her again, Abigail, what did you hear me say? Have you understood? Let her repeat. Because you may say that, and I've had cases with parents who ask their daughters to rephrase. They're like, Mom, you just don't care. Mom, you're always busy. You don't have time for me. Mom, you're always on your phone. You just came in a conversation, you have not even touched your phone. It's like, no, mommy, you're always on your phone. You're always working. You don't have time for me. You're always traveling there, because of work. You don't have time for me. And that's when you'll get to understand really what's happening. So acknowledge her feelings, parent, affirm her worth, ask what she had. It's okay to ask how she interpreted what you said or what you did. When you picked the phone and decided to hide the phone, how did she interpret it? Okay? You may think that she thought now mommy cares about me, or she thinks that now mommy is punishing me, but she may think like mommy hates me. Mommy, and remember, when you take the phone away, you are disconnecting her from her peers. So there is no social reward again. And that is why your daughter will live a very miserable life because you have cut a social connection. Okay? And the last lie that I have, what do you need to do then? Avoid downplaying social issues. Please avoid downplaying social issues. They matter to them. Friends are so important. You can't afford to tell her ignore them or you'll get other friends. That is more hurting than even losing the friends itself. Listen to understand, not to reply. When I'm having girls in my coaching session, I genuinely want to understand where they're coming from. And that is why, even if a parent tells me that they have a very good relationship with their daughter, I get to know so many other things that parents don't know. Why? Because I am genuinely interested to understand their world, to know what is happening, and they share their world with me. I respect it. Just the way as you as a parent, I respect your world. Remember, you are not the only influence in the life of your child. You are not the only person who is influencing. Actually, the moment they start going to school, they have more influence outside than at home. And so her perception towards life, her communication, her values most likely will be shaped by outside world than at home. Okay, so trying to understand her perspective, her perception, and you may have brought your daughter in a very healthy environment, but then later she lies a lot, and you wonder, where did you get all these lies from? Why are you pretending? Why are you downplaying, your strength and your capability? Why are you downplaying your skills? Okay, and the fourth one, catch her doing right thing and name it. Appreciate that one time she did those house chores. Appreciating and acknowledging the good things they do means a lot to them. But also, if you have been doing it sarcastically previously, then they may not really understand when you become very, very genuine. Okay. Let me see some questions or comments. What do you do when she's faking or picking bad habits to fit in? Carol, this is a whole class that I have, but I always tell parents everything rises and falls with being self-aware. If your daughter is not self-aware, she will really, really struggle with all these things that I've talked about. Okay, even friendship, she'll struggle. She'll struggle with it. So, Carol, is again, it's not point number one, help her do this or help her do this, but everything rises and falls with being self-aware because she doesn't know. She's just trying to fit in. It's the way, Carol, you can maybe move to, let's say you live in Nairobi and you want to relocate to Mombasa. Your wardrobe will change. You cannot be putting on your trouser suit and skirt suit and your cardigans. You will buy lighter clothes. And the same thing with your daughter. She's trying to adapt to fit in. Whether they are bad habits or good habits, she will do whatever so that she fits in. So it's helping you understand who are you as a person. You don't have to change your personality because this is who you are. What about when 15-year tells you so excitedly she has a boyfriend like her and she wants you to react as a friend? Oh, I'll be so happy. Yeah, I I don't know the name of your parent. It's in Phoenix. I will be so happy, and this is the reason why I'll be so happy that my daughter first trusts me, and trust you me. There are so many parents whose children are in relationships at the age of 12, not even 15, 12 and 11, and the parents have no idea because their daughters cannot trust them. So when she tells you, first thing is becoming excited and acknowledging that she is actually trusting you because this is a very sensitive issue. So besides even talking about boyfriend and whatever, acknowledge that she has told you. Then go ahead and ask her, what does being in a relationship mean to you? Take advantage of that. Don't try to correct at this point. Don't try to guide. Don't try to tell how having boyfriends is a wrong thing, because you will tell her, and trust you me, that's the last time you will hear about her and the boys. So try to understand, because sometimes girls will get in a relationship, and getting in a relationship means different things to different girls. So try to understand. So how did it happen? Okay, so what's the goal of this relationship? Try to get into her world. If you need now to guide, okay? If you tell her, stop doing this, do this, you have lost her. And sorry, this is not our generation. We are talking about generation alpha. 15 is a generation alpha. So you tell her, stop doing this, that's how you have lost her in that conversation. Instead of telling her, stop doing this, try to ask her, if it's not having a boyfriend, what else can you be doing? Why are you so attracted to this particular one? So you are trying to push your agenda, but in a very wise way, not being so direct. Ask questions that will lead her to giving you the answer that you want, so that she gives you an answer without you necessarily telling her what to do. I hope that makes sense. Because we lose our children when you tell her, stop doing that. She may stop it, but in a military kind of way. All right? And I know that's not what we want for our children. I'm seeing another question here. Mm. What is the best way to deal with her when she's having problems with her friends? Her friends, do you side with her to encourage her? And how do you tell her in a way she can understand that some friends are bad, if they are, really? Sometimes even our daughters can be the toxic ones in those relationships. It's not always about the other friends. Even her, she can be the toxic one. So just help her, just the way you would have a conversation with an adult about friendship. What don't you like about them, or why is it so important? And something that is very common and that I've shared with you here, they want to belong. If they can jump from that friendship to another, they are okay. But the reason why they are crying and feeling bad about it is because it's not very easy to jump from one friendship to another. Okay? So you don't really side with her, or you don't encourage her. You help her to find her own solution. What is she missing with those friends? What did they do? Did she do anything wrong? Just to help her to be grounded. Okay? But then, because that's a difficult conversation, what the easiest way we do as parents is like, ignore them, don't talk to them. Especially if you are dealing with bullying, where she's being bullied, or where she's the bully. I don't take bullying casually, honestly. Of course, in my classes I teach girls on how to stop bullying, because bullying is such a big deal. Sometimes bullying can be very soft, and so people may not even know it's bullying. And so what that does, it kills your daughter slowly by slowly, without her knowing. The girl who was bubbly, vibrant, is no longer now talkative. She's just quiet. She doesn't express herself, and you wonder what really happened. So when it comes to bullying, if your daughter has reported bullying, report it to the school. There's no any other way. Report it to the school. If your daughter wants to transfer because of bullying, please let her transfer. You don't know the magnitude of it, and sometimes they may not tell you the magnitude of that bullying, because they are afraid that again you will report those people to the teachers, and they will face, they'll be punished or expelled from the school. Remember the social aspect of their lives. They want to belong. They would all want to be considered as the snitch, as the bad kids in school, bad friends. So they may not tell you the magnitude of bullying. Okay? But also, again, some of the questions parents you're asking, I may not have the answer in terms of A, B, C, D. And it's not the first time, like a parent who told me, there's a parent, I don't know if you're here, but she inboxed me today and she told me my daughter is performing so poorly, from this grade to this grade. Now, parents, I don't have answers to that unless I have a conversation with your daughter. And the reason why I do these webinars is just to open your mind. There is no one size fit all. Probably your daughter is performing poorly because she's just lazy. Like there's nothing wrong with her. She's just lazy, or she's not able to follow a timetable, or there are things that are disturbing her. Maybe family issues. Like there's a girl who deteriorated from getting an A in 844 system, from getting A to getting a D plus, and the parent was they were so annoyed and angry. Then the girl started conversing, and it continued like that. She went to for therapy. There was no help until when she came to. I had some sessions with her, and she mentioned that the parents were having marital conflicts during COVID, and it really affected her. And we had a conversation around that. And now, by the time we're talking with the dad, sometimes beginning of this year, the girl was at B plus. So when you ask me about performance, I may not be able to tell you. When you ask me about friendship, I may not be able to tell you this is what to do, because I don't have solution that one size fit all. I know there are people and there are coaches and mentors who do that outside. They can tell you if your daughter is struggling with friendship, do this and this and this. For me, I'm not able to tell you because I want to understand where is your daughter coming from. Why are we talking about friendship? Why are we talking about bullying? Why are we talking about fitting in? Because sometimes it becomes even a family issue. Like your daughter is always in an environment where she feels not seen, not heard. And so the only place she feels heard and seen is with friends. And now you have taken the phone away from her. Yes, she can say, I will commit suicide. And it's not a joke, it's true. She can commit suicide because of that. It's such a big, big deal. And also, as we conclude, parent, if your daughter is a good girl, if your daughter is the obedient girl who is not affected by peer pressure, she just stays at home, reads, she just does her chores, she's not problematic, you have not seen the teenage, in her, that all these things, all these things that you're talking about, you feel like, oh, thank God, my daughter is better. Oh, thank God, my daughter is, oh, thank God. This is not to cause an alarm. This is not to, I'm not being sadist, but I have seen these girls snap and change in one occasion. Remember, even if she is not going through this season, she's still a teenager. Even if she is not um exemplifying all these characters that you're talking about, she's still a teenager. It doesn't mean now her brain is not like a normal teenager. And let me give you an example. There is this girl who reached out to me on Facebook. This is and she was describing herself as, I've been a good girl, caring, my parents love me, I performed well. She was doing medicine in one of the universities. Now by then she was in third year. And this girl got in a relationship when she was in first year. And she, they started dating and they started sleeping together, blah, blah, blah. And she was so happy. The girl herself was hardworking. So the money she was given by the parents, sometimes she could use it to pay house rent for the boy. They were living, quote unquote, a kind of a good, ideal life. But she's taking care of the boy, okay? And now when they were in that year, this boy told her that she's not interested in her again, that she's ugly, she can't marry her, he can't marry her because she's not pretty, she doesn't have the qualities of a good girl or a wife, those many things. And the girl could not comprehend that. And she reached out because of the post I shared on Facebook, and she was like, Brenda, why is he so mean? He was my first boyfriend. I can't even tell my parents because my parents don't know this side of me. I've been a good girl all the time, da 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 da. You know? Of course, I tried to help her connect, and she was kind of getting into depression. I helped her get a therapist, because now she was in a very far away town. Now, to cut the long story short, I got to learn that this girl committed suicide later. A third year student, very promising, performing so well, but she couldn't take it. Whatever she was told by the boyfriend, she couldn't take it. She ended her life. Now, this is not to cause an alarm, but parents, It just takes every parent who has a kind of quote unquote problematic girl, or a girl who is a bit dramatic, who has these things that I've talked about. They always say, I don't know what happened to my daughter. There is always something that happens in the lives of our children that makes them to snap. So if you're having a girl who is that obedient and kind, responsible, please um do not be comfortable with that. So why am I saying that? Expose her to programs. There are churches that offer free programs. There are programs around that are very cheap, affordable, others you can afford. Please allow your daughter to go through these programs, because then she will be open. She will learn these things before they even happen, because they are bound to happen. Bullying is about will happen. Friendship heartbreaks will happen, because this is life. This is life, and life is not perfect. So what are we saying? We are preparing our girls for the worst, because when it comes to preparing them for the best, we are good in that, and that is why they're in school. That is why we have insurance covers and policies for them. We are ready. We have prepared them for the good, but also prepare them for the worst by exposing them to these programs. And that is why I would want you to have your baby attend this class, the Fearless Girl virtual class, Real Talk on Sexuality and Identity, a safe space for girls to understand identity, sexuality, and choices. And this is what um, it will be covering, or this is the composition of the program: exclusive, personalized, only few slots. I said the last class is just 20. We are not yet 20, but few post positions remaining. We will cover the most pressing issues, just the way this class has been very practical in terms of not much theory of things that are making sense. Is the way our classes are. And we have gathered all questions that we have been asked by girls, from over 10,000 of them, and this is what we use to develop our curriculum, or rather our program. It's led by life coaches with global experience, people who have traveled the world, not only the experience in Kenya, but also globally, what is happening, because our daughters are growing and they are becoming the best version of themselves. They'll travel the world. And so this is why we want them to attend these 4 sessions for girls, 17th to 20th of August at night, 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. And it will be done via Zoom. The first session will be Who Am I Really? Understanding Sexuality, Gender, and Identity. Session 2 will be about my body, beauty, understanding who is a girl. We are telling our daughters, who are you? You are a girl. This is why you are a girl. Because the world is actually telling them other things. And you know that the LGBTQ community and what is happening. My future, my choice. We're talking about value, wisdom, and relationships. But also, most of the questions that you have asked, we'll be doing them on session 4, handling pressure and being grounded. Being grounded when everything else is shaking. What do you need? What do you need to do? This is it to be at 10,000 Kenyan shillings. You can make the payment. Just few slots again remaining. Parents will be having myself, Coach Tony Tabari is from Kenya, and Coach Barbara Bonimpa, Uganda, who resides in Uganda and Germany. And all these are ready for your daughters. Why not have your daughter attend this? Why not? Why would you want your daughter to miss this? For sure, and you can afford it. You can afford it without strain. Why would you want your daughter to miss this? Please make the payment. With the classes, they are online, ages 13 to 17 years. Yeah, I have responded to that, 13 to 17 years. I have also one-on-one sessions at will. So if you need more details about this, please, parents, have your daughter bring. The reason why I keep on emphasizing and shouting about this is because I know the value that your daughter will get from this class. It is not something you can trade for. It's not even 10,000 is very kidogo money compared to the value that your daughter is going to get out of this. So allow me to say a big thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. Really, really appreciate. And thank you for bearing with me having my video off all through. I can tell you this was a bit of a stretch for me, but I'm glad I was able to deliver, and I hope you have gotten value from this. Do we have any parent with a question, please? I am glad to respond. Oh, thank you, parents. Get well soon. Thank you for the presentation. Really appreciate. All right. You have a lovely night. I will communicate. I'll be having a live for now. The reason why parents I tell you all these things is because your daughters are not on Facebook, are not here. But I will organize a live Facebook Live. Please keep tuned in our WhatsApp group. I'll be sharing with you so that I can have your daughter for very interactive sessions before we begin our webinar. Otherwise, thank you very much. Have a good night and God bless. Bye.